Hello and welcome to Unacademy guys. And today is Sunday और Sunday को हम लोग mock GD practice करते हैं. So I have some really talented aspirants with me here on Unacademy's CAT4MBA channel. So I officially welcome you on board, guys. Welcome Mohita, Prajwal, Mithun, Hemant, Pregna, Sandesh, Sheetal, Navkar, Nitesh, Ayush, and Mandar. Welcome, guys. So today's topic of discussion is going to be freedom of press. Okay, freedom of press के ऊपर आज हम लोग discuss करेंगे. I'll give you 5 minutes to prepare for your group discussion points that you want to say in the discussion, and then we can start with the discussion. Is it clear with everybody, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fantastic. So your time starts now, guys. The time for you to prepare your points starts now. Go for it, guys. Let's crack it.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now, Nitesh.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so shall we start the discussion?
Navkar, just 1 minute. Let everybody finish up with their points. Then we can start with the discussion. Just 1 minute, Navkar.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So your time is up. Your time
Okay.
for discussion starts now. We will have a 40 minutes discussion for this particular topic, that is freedom of press. Okay, guys,
Okay.
all the very best. Please keep a balanced group discussion. All the very best to all of you guys. Let's crack it. Go for it, guys.
Yeah.
Good
So
evening,
I'm
everyone.
going to discuss some brief analysis on the topic, which does means freedom of speech. it generally comes from the article of the Constitution, freedom of speech, and includes the freedom of press. So it generally comes from the article of our Constitution that includes freedom of speech. So what is the freedom of press means? The principle of the communication and expression through various media, including printed and electronic media, that exercise various communication and exercise them freely. This thus generally means the freedom of press. So there are two bodies which generally govern the freedom of press in India. First is the Press Council of India, which is a statutory body came into exist by an act in the Parliament in 1966, and another body which generally governs the media outlets, which are the TV media outlets, that is News Broadcasting Standard Authority of India. Okay.
Well, to add to it, Thomas Jefferson, a famous American diplomat, has actually said a very good quote that the press is the only toxin of a nation, and when it is completely silenced, all means of general effort are taken away. The freedom of press and the freedom of expression is nothing but to keep interference and any authority out of the content of the media so that it derives freely by the electronic and print media. But in the recent times, that is, the charges of sedition and the crackdown on press freedom have increased manyfold. It's a stark reality, but India is in severe journalism crisis, which is very evident from the latest World Press Freedom Index, where India ranks 142 out of 180 countries. And also the Prime Minister of the biggest democracy, that is Mr. Narendra Modi, has never addressed a press conference in the last 2030 days. That is, he's been since power. So I think it's stark reality that must be addressed.
I would like to add to Ayush's point. He said how Narendra Modi didn't address. I would like to differ from this point and take back to media during the British days itself. During the British days, some of the media, some of the biggest media houses were the Indian Gazette, the Calcutta Gazette, the Madras Couriers, and the Bombay Herald, which is the oldest media house till date in entire Asia. Until from that time till now, most of the media houses are still owned by politicians. So we can expect some sort of propaganda to be sent through the media houses, and it is through our logical reasoning we should come to a conclusion, not blindly believe them. I would like to also contribute to some of the media houses which has exposed some of the greatest scams, such as the Bofors scam, the Fodder scam, the 2G spectrum. For example, the Augusta Westland scam was exposed by the Indian Express team. Then the cement scam, in which the CM of Maharashtra was exposed, was again by Indian Express team. So I think it is for our logical and our conclusions to decide upon the media houses.
Well, to like to add that India is a democratic country where media is said to be fourth pillar of the democracy, and it is required for the smooth function of the country. Even the Constitution guarantees the freedom of speech under Article 19, which deals with the protection of certain rights regarding freedom of speech. 19.1 says that all citizens shall have the rights of freedom of speech and expression. Even in earlier days, the sources of media were just limited to the print, which were later extended to the television, and we are in the modern age where the latest addition to the print media is internet. India's second largest newspaper market in the world, with a daily newspaper reporting combined circulation of over 240 million copies. The advancement in technology has made it very easy. The transmission of news has made very easy. The role of the media acts as a bridge between people and representative and government. It also acts as voice of the people and show the ground reality. Media brings light on good as well as bad aspects of the governing bodies. Transparency in the governing functioning of the government is very essential. Media also plays a powerful weapon to expose all the illegal things, as Hemant mentioned, happening within the country. Even during the pandemic, the media is very active and giving us the daily updates for COVID and spreading awareness about COVID and various natural calamities like Amphan cyclone, Nisarga cyclone, and other things. The media makes full use of its freedom of speech for exposing things as well as ask the tough questions to the concerned politicians as they are answerable to the society.
Now coming to journalists.
Guys.
I actually agree with what
by adding a
Nitesh said.
point to it, media does play important role in our society, but the recent incident which took place from the Sushant Singh murder case to so many cases, the media has been selective on selective topics such as Sushant Singh case, some other cases. Media has been pointing out some selective topics and not the whole economy, such as the COVID-19 crisis. Economy is shrinking. We have lots of unemployment increasing, but they have been selected topic, and the funded media has been growing. So we can't express our naturalities today.
And coming to this journalism in COVID-19, if we just analyze the recent examples, 3 journalists in UP have been imprisoned due to the reporting of inefficiency of a quarantine camp in Uttar Pradesh. 10 complaints have been filed in Himachal Pradesh due to the inefficiency of the hospital authorities, and secondly, 68 reporters have been charged with different sections due to the reporting on the migrant crisis due to this journalism. And also, to name a few journalists who have been charged with different charges, they are NewsClick's Gautam Navlakha, Gauri Media, Dodlia Narasimha, and Kashmir's narrator Asif Sultan. These all have been attacked by the government due to their reporting on COVID-19 and bringing out the truths to us. And also, if you know the Tablighi Jamaat case, how journalists have actually become hate mongers in this case, while High Court has actually buried the Tablighi Jamaat members. So actually, it is a very polarized media that we are seeing today in COVID.
Yeah,
time.
so we need reforms in the media.
Navkar, 1 minute. Mithun is trying to say something from a long time. Yes, Mithun.
Yes, so when we talk about the freedom of press today, so in the context of India, when we see it, like there are 2 forms of media we see generally: news channels, one who supports the government and one who questions the government. We don't get to see somebody which is totally independent or does some news that is totally independent. Like somewhere and at some place there will be a certain kind of bias that you could feel. So what we need actually in today's world is a body that would supervise all these actions under the judiciary and not under the pretext of falling into some government's false beliefs or propaganda.
Yes.
As Nitesh
Okay, Prajwal, go ahead, Prajwal.
Sir, as Nitesh said earlier, the Indian Constitution protects the right to freedom of speech and expression under the Article 19 Clause 1. But this right is subjected to certain restrictions given by Article 19 Clause 2, which are the restrictions are sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of state, public order, decency of mortality, contempt of court, defamation, and there are many such things. Given these things, media cannot ask for any other right, any special right in this. This right is as this right is available to any Indian citizen. However, this freedom of speech or freedom of expression is not an absolute right. It allows government, this Article 19 Clause 2 also allows government to impose certain restrictions, certain reasonable restrictions in the interest of sovereignty and integrity of India.
Okay.
I agree with Prajwal. As I said, that freedom is never absolute. I should also add to that freedom of media is essential, but the concern of the rising misinformation, data manipulation, and the fake news in the current environment are making authorities to place certain regulations on the same extent. The constant bombarding of the unnecessary information plays a very crucial role in diverting the people's attention from the real issues such as unemployment, public policies, poverty, etc., to some unimportant issues such as like the personal life of some celebrity. We see what they show us. So they play a very crucial role in polarizing people's ideologies. Sometimes sometimes we see the biased version of these news channels that make people believe them so. Like the recent incident, what have happened, we have seen that Rahul Gandhi has participated in a rally where the allegations have been made that the police constables have been pushing him while the other news channels were claiming that Rahul Gandhi has fallen on himself. Like we see that there is such of a biased news. No one is deliberately giving any unbiased news. Everyone is there and giving
and
their
also
own version of the news.
and also considering the World Press Freedom Index that I've just mentioned, in which India ranks 142 out of 180, it also analyzes a very important aspect, that the attack on the women journalists, leaking of their personal information, threatening them, making rape threats to them. And it is also observed in the same report that whilst media houses that don't toe the Hindutva line are charged under colonial law of sedition, while the journalists who are actually hate mongers, who polarize the society and spread fake information, are roaming free, while the women in particular who are reporting on actual points are charged by the same colonial law of sedition, which should have been done away by this time.
Yes, Sheetal.
Just banked 142
Media.
because of
Yes,
reasons.
guys, Mohita is trying to say something. Yes, Mohita.
Okay, the term media freedom extends the traditional idea of the freedom of the press to electronic media such as radios, television, and internet. But the term acknowledges that the media in the modern society consists of more than print sources. Media freedom is generally held necessary for democratic societies. Individuals generally cannot be sufficient information on their own to make informed decisions on public discussions and opinions, and generally fulfill the functions of seeking truth, educating the public, and serving as a watchdog over the government. But media freedom implies the responsibility and accountability. If free media are going to fulfill their vital functions, then the public needs assurance that the media are seeking the truth and acting as a guardian of the public interest.
Okay. Yes, Sheetal, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. So actually, the thing is that we are saying that freedom of media, but thing is that freedom of media, because of your freedom or your freedom of speech cannot be harmful to the other one's freedom of speech actually, because what the media is doing, they are like in the.
Well, she is not audible, sir.
Yes, she is not audible. Sandesh, you can take it from here.
As we all know that in democratic countries, media is the fourth pillar of democracy. Earlier, the source of news was printed newspapers, and then came radio, and we have moved towards the electronic media, where most of the fake news are being passed to WhatsApp University, as you all know. Countries like North Korea, China, where media do not have freedom of speech, we can't get any source of news from those countries. Country like ours, which has freedom of press, and in recent this pandemic, we have seen farmers protest, whether it is Sushant Singh Rajput case or migrant labor case. We saw the biasness of the media. We support the either the regime, current ruling regime, or the opposition.
Okay.
Also coming to these
Yes,
certain
guys.
media
Go ahead.
also coming to these media houses, it's not just about fake hate mongering and fake news. They are actually indulged in unethical practices. Like in just recent time, we saw the TRP scam by the BARC, the Broadcasting Association Council of India, that actually observed that one TV channel, which is named Republic TV, actually used to pay these set houses who were having that set of TRP to increase their TRP. The allegations are still there; they are not proven, but still they have summoned them and they have, asked them to present in the court. So these are really unethical practices, and it is actually a violation of their rights. Why are they indulging in such practices? That's really horrible.
I would like to differ
I
from
would like to
Ayush's
add
point
to
that
Ayush's point. Ayush has said that now everyone about the Republic TV. I would like to differ from all this and talk about the media from the bird's eye view throughout the world. During 2012 London Olympics, we could see James Bond, that is Daniel Craig, meet the Queen and the Prince, and to which in the movie itself they made as though London, the England is a very world powerful country, and when it's getting attacked by the Middle Eastern countries, how London saves the people of British. Just like that, we can see even in English movies, there's always a propaganda around the White House. Like in the movie 2012, we see how America saves the entire world. Like in any zombie apocalypse, America is always the last one standing. And even talking about some of the third world countries like Pakistan, they have their own they have their own film control board called as Lollywood, where Pakistan is always a winning country. They make India and other countries like us look bad. In these countries, we can see that some of the like the most famous media houses like the Walt Disney and Foxlight, Searchlight houses, they always are aligned with the government and support their freedom of speech. But India is the only country where we differ from all this. We pledge our freedom elsewhere. Like some of the most famous Bollywood movies, we see that India is always losing to Pakistan.
Sir,
I don't know.
Pregna. Yes, Pregna.
Disseminates information and ideas among citizens, contributing to a people's common storehouse of knowledge, improves the workings of representative government by helping citizens communicate with their governments. Affords citizens a means of calling attention to violation of their rights, keep government closer to the people by helping policymakers better understand how their actions are being perceived. If, as one of the recent study concludes, the world has been a deep and disturbing decline in media freedom. Recently, we have a stake in finding solution. The solution include before funding creative use of a new information technology and judicial enforcement of journalists' legal rights.
I would like to differ from Ayush's point that the Ayush brought the point of fake news and said that the media houses which didn't align with the Hindutva of the government were charged under the sedition. These same media houses run the fake news against the government, and when government take the action against them, they play the victim card that the government is against them, and they are just charging them under sedition because they are not aligning with their ideology. I would like to point some examples. Recently, there was the controversy of Tanish ad, and one media house said that there was the showroom in Ahmedabad, Tanish showroom in Ahmedabad was attacked by the Hindutva goons. It was clearly written that, and later down they took down the post from the Twitter. Earlier also things happened. There was a news about that a Dalit was killed by a upper caste Hindu just because he was entering the temple. But after some research, it came out that the whole scenario was that the person took the money from that person and he didn't return it. That's why they killed him. So they all just painted them according to their ideologies, and it was painted according to them. Also, I brought the point of VARC where he said that the Republic is charged against in the TRP scam. But if you see the FIR put out by the VARC to the police station, there was no name of Republic TV in the FIR. Also, the whole controversy just because someone from the concerned authority said that someone said that the Republic is involved. The BRC gave the FIR where India Today and two other Marathi channels were involved in the TRP scam, but they took no action against them.
I would like to
Nitesh, I would like to add that
how the freedom of press is constantly criticized in our country. So that's what we were actually discussing. But there's another side of it. Like there are many news channels that are falsely using this freedom of speech that has been given to the press. For example, I would like to mention the case of Sudarshan News Channel, how they targeted a community, how they easily clear preliminary examinations and take out top posts in the country. So that's a big factor, how they influence the common masses. And Sudarshan News being a local news channel, the people there, the literacy rate is quite low. And when they say something, people blindly believe it. So we actually need a regulatory body for that, who can actually monitor what even these local news channels that have a low number of viewership. So we need to regulate.
Completely agree with you.
I would like
There are also cases in the earlier when there are also cases earlier when the news channels just run the things about Brahmanical patriarchy and everything. But when the in news channel, I'm not supporting Sudarshan in this, but when the things comes to, like he showed that the Muslim jihad or something, UPSC jihad was the name of the show, but the controversy is such a huge thing created by the media itself. Like all media houses were criticizing them, and there were cases against them, but no one talks about the Brahmanical patriarchy, the news channel showing them. Like you just see the.
I would like to categorically counter all the points it has just said previously. Firstly, of the Tanishq store, the employee themselves have claimed about that attack. Secondly, regarding what Hemant said, that in Bollywood movies we see this, we see that. Why are we comparing something that is imaginary with the real-time news? That movies are supposed to be imaginary and totally imaginative thought. And Tanishq employees actually have complained about the attack. Secondly, coming to the sedition law, if you just remember the abrogation of Section 370 of Jammu and Kashmir, there was a complete clampdown on the communication. Journalists were not able to report, and those who tried to report or click some photograph, they were charged with sedition. What do you have to say about that?
I would like to say that no employee.
Sir, sustaining
To add to Ayush's point, the movies which Bollywood shows are not fantasy or imaginary. The movies which shows about the Indian culture are our living practices, our living manifesto, our living millennials. So, for example, movies like PK, we have seen that it's been a direct attack on all three religions of our country. This is not imagination. And to add to Tanish's advertisement, I support Nitesh's point. I have some factual data with me which can actually support his claims. Day before yesterday, the 13th Imam of India, All India Imam, and the Chief Maulana of Jamma Masjid has openly criticized, saying that it comes under blasphemy laws, under Sharia law, that in case if a non-Muslim, that is a kafir, is allowed to get married to a Muslim family, it comes under blasphemy laws. Actually, this doesn't come under freedom of press, but I would like to talk about the UCC. It's time that India brings UCC, because every time we talk about freedom of press, it always revolves around religion, or like how Nitesh even added the Brahminical role. So it is time for us to socially evolve and address these issues, and it's for government to implement UCC as soon as possible.
I would like to add
Guys, please. Navkar.
Yeah. So today, what we need some censorship in our media. Second, we should stop the media trials, because the media trials has been a devastating effect of creating an ideology into impact. And the third thing is we should deliberately show both the faces of the coin. We are showing the one face of the coin. That's not possible. We have to show both opinions of any case. And the third and fourth thing, which is the Indian media is directly funded by the corporations, which be owned by the corporation. So we should look into it and see some impacts and some reforms by public and private partnership, and some committees should be made to implement some good laws.
Adding to Navkar, I would like to add that the authenticity of the data has become a really questionable issue in our country. Like, there should be some mechanism in a place to contain the widespread of the fake news, which may destabilize the social and the political environment of the country, such as spreading the unnecessary hate, defaming, etc.
I would like to add one point here. As Ayush said, Arnab Goswami and Republic TV, we have all seen in the recent days, in early days, there were over 200 FIR lodged over Arnab Goswami for questioning Congress president. Over 200 FIR. This is clearly operation. But the same thing Arnab Goswami did before 2 years. He also questioned that time foreign minister Sushma Swaraj. He also asked for resignation from her. And he aired that show over 1 week or so. But the ruling government of that time didn't lodge FIR on Arnab Goswami for asking for questioning foreign minister, the sitting foreign minister. So this is clearly shows the hypocrisy of the Congress to oppress the media and speak in the favor of media.
Well, I believe that first and foremost thing that we as citizens need to do to improve the freedom of press or the way the media houses run our country is that we need to improve our watch list. Like, we are not viewing news channels for entertainment. We are actually watching news channels for awareness and to know what are the events that are happening. So that's the first thing that we need to raise awareness about and educate the common masses or the rural masses, like what should be the stand on viewing a particular channel. Then only, see, when you talk about Republic TV does the same thing, because people are promoting it, people are watching it, people think that shouting is the new form of debate, but that's not the actual thing. He has changed the way the debates are taking place. Debates actually are taken place in a like well positioned set up in a decent manner, but that has completely changed the way debates or group discussions are taking place in our country now.
It's a really good point.
I
That
totally
Mithilesh has
agree with
brought up
this
this
point.
point.
Guys, Pregna is trying to say something from a long time. Yes, Pregna.
Funding and internet savvy go only so far. No press is truly free if professional and citizen journalists must fear for their fiscal safety. There was a committee, the Committee to Protect Journalists, counts more than 72 journalists killed because of their work in 2050. Countries on nearly every continent are represented on CPJ's annual impunity index, getting away with murder. One key protector of a free press is a free and long judiciary. Agnes Callamard, director of Columba University Global Freedom of Expression Initiative, observes that courts have upheld free speech rights even in nations whose governments do not generally protect free speech. Or journalist her organization has honored courts and legal groups in Norway, Turkey, Zimbabwe, and Burkina Faso for protecting a free press through the courts. Freedom of the press is a group effort, and when individuals, organizations, and governments come together to preserve it, everyone benefits.
Guys,
It's a
5
very
minutes,
good
last 5 minutes of
one.
the discussion.
One thing I would like to, very good point that Mithun brought up, that point of debate. If we observe, there's a channel on Twitter known as Being Human. He analyzes all the debates that happen on news channels, and the past 3 months, that is August, September, and October, in total of 285 debates, only 3 debates were to coronavirus, even when cases were peaking at 1 lakh cases, and the other debates were Sushant Singh Rajput case, Kangana Ranaut case, and Rafael Dean and everything. How Pakistan is handling the coronavirus crisis, how Bangladesh is handling coronavirus crisis, but they were not focused on the contraction of the economy of 23.9% quarterly, or what are the job losses. So actually, what Hindi they say as dhyan bhatkau bhashan. That is what these news channels are doing nowadays.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ayush's point. What I think is media in today become big businesses in the hands of people who have nothing in their mind except profit, loss, and TRP. To support this, we are seeing ongoing controversy between two big media houses, Republic and India Today. Media has become, I think, media has become independent monster in the hands of people. In the hands of people who only care for their only care for the TRP of the channel, and they are not interested in showing the real issues of the country, such as unemployment and farmer protest, etc. They are only subjected to their TRP.
So we need to
some journalists have turned to crowd funding to help finance their reporting. For example, in 2013, journalists in the Netherlands raised 1.7 million via crowdfunding to found the correspondent, an online platform that others background analysis and investigating reporting in Dutch and English. And Crowtrip Reporter, launched in 2013, used crowdfunding to create its online magazine. In the US, the Texas Tribune, and non-profit news site supported by money raised from across the donor spectrum, political, corporate, foundation, and government, publishes non-partisan reporting on Texas state politics. In success has led to news partnership with the New York Times and more recently the Washington Post Tribune. Editor Emily Ramshaw told Neiman Lab, if our readers can't get a story somewhere else, that's the stories for the Texas Tribune.
Okay, guys.
So
Last one point. Who will take it?
So what we need to add.
Mohit. Okay. Mohita will take the last point and followed by Mithun. Then we will stop the discussion. Okay. Mohita.
The last point I have to add.
अच्छा ठीक है मोहिता 30 seconds your points, Mithun 30 seconds your points, then Navkar 30 seconds your point, then we will move on to conclusion guys.
Can I get 30 seconds?
Okay, take 30 seconds.
So 10 seconds for me, sir.
You take the 10 seconds, but guys,
All right, sir.
keep it very simple, keep it very crisp. Yes Mohita, go ahead.
Okay, but I think the freedom of press that India has, nobody in the world has that freedom of speech that they can go on the public platform and speak on such big issues. I think when the media has that freedom, it should take care of some points. But like first, I think Hemant said that they should show the two coins and everything should be proper. It should not misguide the viewers. But I think the viewers are misguided by our own people who tweet about the fake news or who spread this fake news, and then the conclusion comes that no, this is not the real news. Before doing this, I think the media houses should personally go and research about all these topics.
Okay, Mithun.
Well, I think that the media, the condition of the press today is because it's free. Like the news is everything free. So even the media houses need bread and butter for their constant running process. So it's basically dependent on their advertisements. So what we need to do is for a country is that we need to have a paid media, some kind of system like that, wherein it's not just totally dependent on the advertisements. And for if you want to show too much advertisement, you need to give some entertainment. So that's the logic what media houses are following today. So we need to be shift from that.
Okay, Navkar.
Yeah, so the most important thing is we should improve our watch list as discussed earlier. By doing this, we can improve a lot. And the last thing, the sovereignty and integrity of a country should not be affected by the freedom of press.
Okay, Nitesh.
This is the high time to bring the regulations on the freedom of media. Freedom in any context is never absolute, as Prajwal said. Freedom is essential, but the rising concerns of misinformation, data manipulation, fake news, etc., has making authorities place regulations on it. Also, the Mandar said some points about the unimportant issues given out by the media houses, like the personal lives of the famous personalities over the important issues like unemployment and COVID crisis, etc. This is, I think, the regulation of media should be brought. Also, the media also affect the ideology of the people watching it, so they tend to polarize the people according to their ideology. Sometimes they present a biased version of the news and make people believe it. The news channel and the media houses has lately started spreading the fake news and data without authenticity. This has become a huge issue when people follow the channel and believe it is the truth. It is the truth. These things may destabilize the socio-political environment of the country. Also, I stated some.
Nitesh, yes. Keep your points for the conclusion, Nitesh. Yes, Ayush. 10 seconds.
Sir, last report, sir. Getting away with murder report. According to a study by Free Speech Collective, there have been 198 serious attacks on journalists, and they have been documented, and 36 alone in 2019. Secondly, to control the dissent, the government has actually blocked the international account of Amnesty International to block the dissent and reduce the restriction in the foreign contribution of funds. That's what I want to say, sir. Thank you.
Okay, guys, that is all for the discussion for today. Very good discussion, guys. Fantastic. Like we know, the topic is very interesting and it can be explored in many different dimensions, and possibly you try to do that. But couple of things here and there. But let's just quickly go to the conclusion, then discuss the shortcomings of this discussion. All right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mohita, go ahead and conclude the topic for us.
So freedom of the press is the most important wheel of democracy. Without a free press, a democracy cannot exist. In fact, the press is a great medium that conveys the truth to people. However, it cannot function fully if the press is not free. People must have heard this saying about the cost of freedom's eternal vigilance. Thus, it's the media's responsibility to remain vigilant for people's safety. The press has been given the responsibility of checking and balancing the administration and the government, whether there is a social evil, lucrative or corruption or operations happens. The press is the first one to arise a voice. Moreover, we trust the press to collect, verify, and disseminate the facts and figures which influence people's decisions. If the press won't have the liberty to do all this, the people will be in the dark. Therefore, we see how if any one of these liberties is taken away from the press, the voiceless will lose their voice. Worse yet, if the press will be denied to do their job, the ones in power will run the country as their. This result will be uninformed citizens who will thus become powerless.
Yes,
In short,
conclude, Mohita, conclude.
just one, yeah. In short, the freedom of press is the important for smooth functioning of the democracy, and it's very important that one of the most powers of criticize the government will keep the administration on their toes to a better country.
Rajul, go ahead and conclude the topic first.
Yeah, as Mohita said, freedom of speech is important for smooth governing. But I think freedom cannot be equated with or confused with the license to make unfounded and irresponsible journalism. I think it should be handled like a vehicle, like we handle a vehicle, acceleration and brakes. Over acceleration means speed, overspeeding, and overspeeding being disaster. And in the same way, over controlling means no mobility. And I think there should be balance, and I think there should be balance in these two things. And unfortunately, I don't see the balance in today's situations.
Mithun, go ahead and conclude the topic first.
Yeah, as per the discussions that we did today, I'd like to conclude that when we say that pen is mightier than a sword, we should actually stick to it and adhere to those principles. So I see a connection between the unemployment rate of a country and this trolls or other things, the media and everything, because more number of people are watching news for entertainment because they're totally unemployed. They don't have anything to do. So that's what we also need to improve the employment rate of our country, and thus we can ensure a literate and a free press country.
Okay. Hemanta, go ahead and conclude the topic first.
Just like in this discussion, we saw like people spoke against and towards it. Just like that, even media is like a large mirror which feeds on the emotions of the mass public. When we say propaganda, it's for us to decide. We have to use our logic and our reasoning before blindly trusting any sort of media and come to a logical conclusion. Just like how we use freedom of expression, media also uses their own freedom to express their point of view. And to conclude this, I would like to say that to see a very transparent and translucent media, we have to first of all become very progressive as a society, stay united. Only at that time propaganda can never penetrate into our society, because psychologically we are very strong and progressive. So this is how we can improve as a society, and media can get its own freedom.
Great. Regna, go ahead and conclude the topic first.
In doing so, it has sought to assess the success or failure of media policies as framed and applied to promote free speech and independent media behavior, offering insights into the variety of constraints affecting the media operation. Is derived from the world of politics, the market, economic, and technological factors, but also regulatory failings and deficient complaints with fundamental rights and freedoms, although their exact type and intensity surprisingly differ from country to country. Their multifarious nature renders policy design and conduct in support of free speech and India's independent performance a highly complicated venture. In what follows, the key findings of the research carried out are highlighted, while the analysis has expanded
conclude the topic.
with a reflection on the government model and the policy intervention that can help promote free and independent media.
Okay. Sandesh.
Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, you are audible, Sandesh.
As in a democracy, there are three pillars. The fourth pillar is the media, where this fourth pillar, right voice.
I think so. He left the meeting. Sheetal, you should go ahead and conclude the topic. Sheetal, you are there with us? Ayush, go ahead and conclude the topic.
He unmuted, sir.
Sir, should I?
Yes.
All right, sir. sides. It's been a privilege to understand both the sides on this topic, and I would like to conclude that press is of paramount importance when it comes to maintaining democracy. To protect the sovereignty, it's important to control the information at some points, but without bias. A government should try to analyze the dissent and their shortcomings rather than imposing sedition charges on the media houses. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Sandesh, are you back? Do you want to continue?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
As media is the fourth pillar of democracy, we see nowadays the media has revolved and it's mostly goes in the sensational news which gives them TRPs, and we have lost the freedom of media.
Okay. Nitesh, go ahead and conclude the topic.
I would like to say that the media also show what we see. So we are the consumers, and I will. It's like we run the media houses because we see it. If we don't see what they show, they will not run. Okay, I would also like to say that the media houses should self-regulate themselves and take a vow to show the real and authentic news to views which is not biased and affect the peace and harmony of the society. In self-regulation means that the achieving the balance between media's duty to empower role of the people in the governance and reasonable restrictions to prevent abuse of its power.
Okay. Navkar, go ahead and conclude the topic for us.
Yeah, so as a student, what I need to see when I open any newspaper or turn on my television is economic affairs, employment, world affairs, national affairs, and local affairs. And surprisingly, these all topics are generally missing. So we need to have concern over this and start pointing the main things which we are needed today. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mandar, go ahead and conclude. Very interesting topic. Primarily, you could have explored it in three different dimensions. One is the purpose of media. Okay, what is the purpose of media? Another, what is the recent scenario of the Indian media? And third one is the impact that it has on the society overall. Okay, now that includes all kind of media. Sadly, the discussion today was majorly restricted to TV media only. Okay, the television media you talked about. However, uh, in the context of the TV or that particular form of media, you explored it very well. But nobody spoke about the radio form of media or the printed form of media. वहां पर किसी ने भी एक्सप्लोर ही नहीं किया उस पर्टिकुलर डायमेंशन में. बट आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड क्योंकि टीवी में ही इतना कुछ चल रहा है आजकल in that particular form of media that there is so much to talk about, there is so much to discuss about. Now understand one thing guys, whenever there is a discussion, it is only to open up dimensions for you to put in your thoughts for a particular perspective or towards a particular opinion that you have. Now, there were some really good points which were brought in by Prajwal, Ayush, Nitesh, Mandar, Mithun also, Hemant also, for a matter of fact. For example, Mithun had brought in the question of small news channel. Now, particularly, whenever we talk about media, we only focus on the big media houses, just like Republic TV or India Today or NDTV or Aaj Tak. We majorly focus on that particular aspect of media. It was very wise of Mithun to bring in that point. So he's opened up a discussion that when we consider about media, there are small media houses also which have an impact over the people or over the audience as such. So that was a good point. Ayush, also it's a very good opening that you made to the group discussion. Your research was very fine today. You brought in some good information about the international media and the Indian media. So I like that point. Your strength is that you have a very good command over the language and you really have the ability to drive the group discussion. But however, understand one thing, Ayush. However, we could see that you had calmed down your aggression today. That's a very good, that's a positive aspect for today's group discussion that you tried to keep your calm and participate in the group discussion. But understand one thing, Ayush, it is not always compulsory to counter each and every point that your fellow group members say. Okay, maybe take a pause. Even if you don't agree with them, maybe take a pause and then continue with whatever your disagreement is. But I really saw a very positive change in your today's performance that the last one we had. And again, so that your fellow members can understand you. Now, in the whole group discussion, you did keep a very good pace and command over the language. That was very commendable. However, in the conclusion, you ran a little fast. Understand, conclusion is a very important part, because this is your chance to reflect your information or to present your information in front of the moderator without any disturbance. So introduction part and the conclusion part is very important, guys. All of you remember this thing. Sometimes the moderator may give you a separate time to conclude the topic, some of the time he may not. So whenever he gives a chance for you to conclude, make the most out of it. Okay.
Right, sir. Thank you,
Overall,
sir.
that's a positive change that I have seen in your performance today. I am extremely happy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Then Mohita, see, Mohita, whenever you get a chance, when the moderator gives you a chance that you have been trying to say for a long time, or let's say a fellow member is saying ki Mohita is trying to say something from a very long time, when you get an independent chance, that way you should grab it. What your mistake was today in today's discussion, Mohita, was when I asked you something that you wanted to say. What did you do? You introduced the topic. Okay. I was expecting you should take up from where the discussion was left. Now, it is not, it should not be in a way that your fellow group members are discussing on one particular point, and when someone has asked your opinion, you should start with the beginning. That is most of you did in today's discussion also. Article number 19 clause 1 of clause A of the article 19 was already explored enough, but then too you kept on adding value to it when everything about article number 19 was covered. Prajwal also did the same thing. Mandar also did the same thing. However, uh, Prajwal nahi. Somebody else spoke about, I think so it was Mithun. Uh, Somebody else spoke about article number 19 clause 2, wherein it comes with a particular restriction. It was Navkar. It was not Prajwal or Mithun. It
No,
was
sir. That was me, sir.
you were, that was you. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So particularly you talk about the second aspect, which was correct. Now everybody knows that article number 19 it talks about your freedom to speech and expression. Okay, it means that it particularly has restriction, and that was a good point that Prajwal, you brought, that article number 19 clause 2 of the constitution talks about restriction, that whenever the sovereignty and integrity and the unity of the nation is hampered or is under threat, it puts a restriction. So that was a good point that you brought. Mandar, coming to Mandar now, very good point that you brought about how misinformation is passed through different media houses, which was very well complemented by Ayush. Now, in this particular discussion, we could see there were equal groups who were for the motion and some were against the motion. Now, Mandar ka jo point tha, you brought in various points about misinformation. You did try to touch the aspect of privacy, right of privacy. You could have explored it more. No, even Navkar also tried to brought in the point of media trial. Now nobody spoke on right to privacy or nobody spoke on media trial. Those were two important dimensions of the topic where you could have explored the topic in
I
detail.
made the point, but I forget to express it.
That's what I'm saying. You did touch that dimension, but you could have explored it more. For example, right to privacy, there were so many cases which happened already, which intruded, the press actually intruded the right to privacy of the normal citizen. For example, the Arushi Talwar case. We have seen in that case that the press was all over the crime scene, which actually diluted the evidences, evidentiary value of that particular crime site. तो वो एक चीज था. मीडिया ट्रायल का भी एक पर्टिकुलर डिमेंशन था वेर यू कुड हैव एक्सप्लोर्ड इट, बट however that is fine. Whatever points you discussed, I am happy. Now, the original group discussion is not for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, it's only 15 to 20 minutes. Now, we have to particularly cover majority of the dimensions in this 15 to 20 minutes. And mind you guys, 15 to 20 minutes is not a small time. You can
Sir, my
particularly
drawback.
yes, I am coming, I'm coming to everybody. I'm just telling in general that 15 to 20 minutes are also enough for you to explore the topic in various dimensions. Okay, so that please everybody keep that in mind. Pregna, I think you lacked relevancy in your group discussion today. However, I could see that you have gained more confidence from the last time that you have participated in the group discussion. You were very shy then, but now you have somehow taken a step forward in terms of participation. But Pregna, you really have to be within the discussion. What's you should have a presence of mind that what your fellow group members are discussing about. Even if you want to introduce one particular point, okay, even if you want to discuss one particular point, you can drive your fellow group members and introduce a new particular point altogether. In between a heated discussion, if you make a new point, you are going to lose your marks there, because the moderator will feel that you are not being relevant to particular topic. Now, for example, when you spoke about funding, okay, when you spoke about funding, about press or media houses, that was one important aspect that you could have explored. But then you put in a lot of research. uh, uh, Whatever you had researched about this particular topic, you started reading it, so that you actually diverted from the topic. So I think you lacked relevance today. But however, uh, whatever information you have in respect or in context to that particular topic, make it a point that you use it in the right way. Please don't divert from the topic. You will lose marks there. But I see there's a positive change from the last group discussion. You did not participate in the last group discussion. However, you took a step forward and made it a point that you participated uh, uh, ample times in the group discussion. I hope that thing is clear with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Navkar, good points, Navkar. I really like the way you introduced the topic, but you could have done it in a better way. Like, for example, you told about what is freedom of press and how it is derived from the freedom of speech and expression. Okay. Now, this goes for everybody, guys. When you were talking about media houses, when you talked about the ownership structure, now when that was also one particular time somebody of you could have explained it in a better way, that what is the ownership structure that the media houses follow today, even with the printed media, not only with the TV media. In the independence time, or even after independence, in the initial days of India as a building nation, the printed media played a very important role, and that ownership structure has been followed in the uh, television form of media, of how the political parties are driving their agendas through the electronic media or through the television media. This was one particular point. Navkar, I think you should have put it in your introductory part. But
Yes, sir.
uh, good points you brought in today. We really need to brush up on your communication skills a little bit. You do have the confidence to participate in the group discussion. I think you are going to be amazing in the group discussion. But we थोड़ा सा हमें communication skills पर काम करना है, intrapersonal skills.
Yeah,
Okay.
first GD, sir. So
Yes, I understand. This is your first GD. It's your first GD, Sheetal's first GD, Mithun's and Sandesh's and Prajwal's first GD also. So we have a very
Mine
long
too.
way to go, guys. And I'm sure you are going to do well, Navkar.
thank you, sir.
Mandar Babu,
It was my first GD also, sir.
I know your first GD also. We have to work on your participation, Mandar. You really have good points with you, but I don't know why you are failing to present them in the group discussion. See, every group discussion you are going to have members like Ayush, Nitesh, Hemant, and other people. We have to really make a way for ourselves to present or participate in the group discussion. Okay, I really like the way Mithun took up the transition from one speaker to another speaker was very smooth with Mithun. Mandar, I think so you were a little low on confidence today. Was that the problem since it was your
Might,
first GD?
I think so.
But you don't have to worry, you have some really good points with you. बहुत अच्छे पॉइंट्स मेंशन किए जो भी यू डिड फॉर एग्जांपल मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन वाला जो चीज है फिर राइट टू प्राइवेसी वाज देयर बायस्ड वर्जन्स ऑफ द मीडिया हाउसेस you put in some really good points to open up the dimensions for the discussion, but we have to work on your confidence, Mandar. I'm sure next time whenever you participate in the group discussion you are going to kill it like Ayush, Nitesh and Hemant the next time.
Yes, sir.
ओके कौन रह गया? हेमंत.
Yes, sir.
Hemanta, very good discussion. Hemant, you really bring in a lot of good information in the discussion. Your research is very good. You have developed that sense of calmness of how you are going to participate in the discussion. Well, I liked your points wherein you brought about Augusta Westland scam, the other scam, how the media is actually responsible towards the society. Now, everybody in the group discussion said that media is actually supposed to be the fourth pillar of our democracy, but nobody told about how it should be. That's the reason I told you in the very beginning that what is the purpose of a media house, what is the current scenario, and what is the effect of it. In these three dimensions, you could have done it well. But Hemant, really good, really good. You bring in a lot of good points. You have very good confidence in presenting yourself, and your participation is flawless, Hemant. I am sure you are now ready for any kind of group discussion. I think IFT is going to have you very soon in the campus.
IFT is waiting for Hemant.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
That is what
Thank
I'm
you so
saying.
much.
IFT is soon going to have Hemant.
Thank you
Nitesh,
so much, sir. Thank you.
You rightly, you try to explore the technicality of the topic in a very better way. So this is also like Ayush and Hemant, this is also your plus point that your research about the particular topic is very good. However, we have to work on your presentation a little bit. Okay, you are in between. When somebody is not agreeing with your point, you become very desperate to prove. For example, Ayush, particularly in the last two GDs we have seen Ayush has always taken the against stand because he is so good in defending his particular point. So there is a moment in the group discussion where you are a little bit anxious and desperate to prove your fellow membership's point. So that is one, that is only, and it's a very small drawback for your performance. I think you are going to overcome it in no time. But your research is good. You really counter very well to your fellow members' point. You bring in the technicality of the topic and you explore it in a very good way. सिर्फ वही एक थोड़ा सा नितेश, there's one silver lining that is remaining. उसको हमें हटाना है. Then we are all good with you.
Yes, sir.
Mithun,
Yes, sir.
like I said, very good points. You have presented yourself very well. You are confident enough whenever you are talking, whenever you are representing your points or presenting your point in front of the group. However, some very good points that you had brought in. One was the Sudarshan example. Nobody could actually. Everybody was so busy in proving the existing thing. Nobody could actually touch that one particular aspect. So that Sudarshan TV's example was very good. Small news channels also point was very good in your presentation. Also very fine conclusion, Mithun. Everybody understand conclusion is something which you should summarize your GD. Okay, for you should come up with way forwards with whatever we have discussed or whatever issues we have discussed during the discussion. Quickly give the way forwards and summarize the group discussion. Mohita and Pregna, again, your conclusion was way too long and it was not relevant. So you have to focus in that aspect, Mohita and Pregna. But Mithun, I think you are a really good performer. we really need to work a little bit. Since this was your first GD, you also did not know how to jump into the
Yes,
discussion.
one particular aspect was that initially I did not get my like chance to present my topic. I was a bit confused when everyone was involving in. So
Yes.
that's when I kept mum. That's why.
No, no, no. You are losing precious marks there,
Yes,
Mithun.
sir. That's what.
See, there are going to be people like Ayush, Nitesh, Hemant, Mandar, Sheetal, Mohita in the group discussion. So you really have to find your way out in participating in the
Yes.
group discussion. But I think so in the second part of the GD, you performed it really well. You brought in some very good points.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, I think next GD, whenever we are going to have, you are going to do much, much better than what you did today.
Okay, sir. I will try.
Yes. Sandesh and Sheetal. Sandesh, you are there with us?
Yes, sir.
Sheetal, are you there with us?
Yes, sir. Fortunately.
Guys, you really need to participate more in the group discussion. What happened? Was the topic too difficult for you guys, or did you not have enough confidence to present in front of these people?
For me, it is like that the lagging of confidence as well in my network as well.
Acha, your network was not so good.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a possibility now the group discussions might happen virtually. If the situation does not get better in the coming months, there is a possibility that the examination board will decide to conduct the group discussions virtually. That is exactly what happened with Symbiosis law examination. They conducted the interviews on Zoom. So there is a possibility कि तुम्हारा group discussion भी Zoom पे हो सकता है. Considering the situation, let's consider कि ऐसा नहीं हो, physically ही हो, so that everybody could participate. But if it happens that way, we should all be present for this type of discussion also. But
Yeah, it was
Sandesh,
initially I'm not getting my part. Initially, I was not getting my space to involve my point, and fortunately, when I get it, and then my network start lagging.
no problem, no problem. Since this is your first GD, we can understand there is always a scope for impression. Sandesh, it's same with you also. This was the first GD. We can understand कि there is always a scope for improvement. Next GD हम better करने का try करेंगे guys. Okay?
So just one doubt, if you could clear.
Yes, please, Ayush.
So, like you said, you don't have to counter every point, right? I do understand that. Yes. So, sir, how should I participate more? Like, if not countering the point, then how should I, participate?
Particularly, there are so many people in the group discussion. So if Nitesh says one particular point, it is not mandatory for you to say immediately after Nitesh. I understand you disagree with this point, but let it be routed with through somebody. Let's say
Okay.
after Nitesh, Navkar will say something, फिर Pregna will say something, and then you can jump in the discussion and then say कि Nitesh is this point, or adding up to Navkar's and Pregna's point, you can then put up your disagreement into the group discussion.
Okay, sir. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you guys
That's
have
right.
enjoyed the discussion, guys.
Right, sir. Very much.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic discussion, guys. Amazing performances by all of you. Please do like this video and share it with your friends also, guys, so that we can reach out
Thank you,
to
sir.
maximum aspirants.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Sure, sir.
Thank you,
Sure,
sir.
Yes, guys.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
very good evening ahead. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye bye,
sir.
guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. So guys, this is one of the ways how we are going to enhance your MBA entrance preparation. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this debate. If you want to be a part of, enjoy this group discussion. If you want to be a part of a mock GD here on CAT4MBA, please do subscribe to our channel on Telegram. That is CAT4MBA GD group, wherein you can participate, or through where you can participate in the group discussion here. So guys, if you are planning for major MBA entrance examination this year, you should go for the Unacademy Plus subscription, the 1 year subscription plan that goes for 15,750 rupees only. And if you want to start early with your preparation, that is first year or second year of your graduation, yeah, third year of your engineering, you should go for the 2-year subscription plan that goes for 18,900 rupees only, guys. So guys, if you have enjoyed the video, please do like this video and share it with your friends so that we can reach to maximum aspirants. Thank you so much for joining in for today's discussion, guys. Have a very good evening ahead. Let's crack it, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day ahead.